please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic?
Captain's Log, subdates 231128.7. Not long to go now, and no lie, I'm getting nervous. Not because of YouTube, although that is a legitimate reason to be concerned, but because my crew need lobotomies to reduce the festive season merriment, and we don't have the room for it. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to do another response, because I was sent something, it tickled me, then I was sent more, it tickled me even more, and I thought, well, there does seem to be some kind of entitlement that has existed for a while. I know the millennials can certainly take some of the blame of that. As a millennial, I'm very sorry, of course, for any entitlement my generation are responsible for. That's how we do it, right? Now it's nullified, right? Cool. Today, we're going to go with somebody who, on their TikTok page, do not go to their TikTok page and hassle them, believes that some people should just be paid to exist. And I don't agree with that at all. There are many things I don't believe should be in existence. Humanity's obviously one of them, but systems that simply support you to exist, I don't agree. I believe you should earn everything you want from life, which should be to vote for me in 2024 so I can end all of you. In total, there are 5 videos I want to show you. Some are reasonably long by TikTok standards, some are quite short. A few of them are follow-ups to the first. Others are within the timeline of follow-up, as in they've released after the first video, but also show the level of intellect we're working with. So to the first video titled, Women Should Be Paid to Exist. I'm guessing the idea of reparations is not going to be good enough for this.
Unpopular opinion, but I literally think that women should be paid to exist.
I mean, it would certainly reduce the need for employment, and of course the stresses many have gone through to push for women's rights over the years, to simply, instead of being treated as equals, to be treated as more equal, which was a term used to be superior to another person based on something that cannot be changed, biology. You might say unpopular opinion. You could well be right. Although, it could well then reduce the immense stresses placed on, for example, fathers in families who are the sole breadwinner, because you have, just for the right of existing, an income. There's no guarantee it'll be enough to get by, but it reduces the stress, and no doubt it'll come out of his taxes anyway, which will go up to, well, accommodate for your freeloading? Yeah.
I know y'all are probably gonna be like, what? But no, follow me on this. So one, like, our bodies literally create life, y'all.
According to recent articles, so do men's. It's very transphobic. Additionally, you create life. It does not give you, should it give you, or should it ever give you, the right to simply say, well, I can create life. I haven't yet, but I can if I want to for an X number of years, finite number of years. I can, therefore I should be given a monetary reward for a biological fact.
Like, that within itself, like, it beats any freaking invention that a man can come up with, like, any tech company. Like, no tech company can come up with a baby in my belly.
Clearly you've never heard of IVF. That came because of advancements in medical practice and science, which was in fact, if you knew anything about anything, created by Dr. Patrick Steptoe and Sir Robert Edwards in 1978. God, I love these men. All this benevolent sexism, right? See, not all women can actually create a child, and a man is required to help with it in a way, even if it's third party with a rather large turkey baster.
So one, that's why we should get paid. And then even women who, like, have already had children, they should still get paid, because guess what? Like, the life of a mother, like, that's a whole job within itself. I literally think that we should receive monthly incomes for being women.
I disagree, because you fulfill a purpose within the family. If you are a mother, if you're a stay-at-home mother, then you have a share of the husband's wage, of course, because that's how a family usually works. I do not believe you should be entitled to some form of state payout so you have basic costs covered. To do so would require a massive shift in the tax system, which in turn will just hurt more people. All but will tax the rich who will sod off out of the country to reduce their tax income and harm the economy. There is a political game here. One has to play it very carefully. I do not believe because you have two X chromosomes, you should be in some way monetarily incentivized or rewarded for being a woman. Well, in this instance, I've said biological woman. Of course, there are those who are not, who identify as a woman because of dysphoria or because of feelings. There are differences. It's quite murky at present. I do not believe we should be entitled to be cared for by the state for existing. That might be unpopular.
I know that sounds ridiculous, but I'm being so serious. I'm being so serious.
Nothing reeks of serious more than someone having to tell me they're being serious. Which is why I did think for a while you were being a bit of a Poe. So there are some other videos, some on this and others not. And I'm just going to go through them to prove a different point, which I'll state now. I believe you to be as sharp as a fully pumped up football. And I mean the soccer one, not the American one.
Some people did not grow up with the stand for something or fall for anything mentality. And it shows. It shows.
I'm sensing a reaction. I wonder if anyone else could work it out yet. That was, by the way, video number 2. A rather feeble attempt at trying to fob off the negative response this individual received because of the content they produced that you've already seen. But there's more cope, it gets better.
Bro, a bunch of incel men are like so upset about the video where I'm like, women should be paid to exist. They're literally like, upset, like pissed.
Now, since you've already assigned them the title of incel, am I right to assume that much like that being an exaggeration of the criticism you've received, them being pissed is also an exaggeration? Also, since you are trying to intentionally bleed additional views by baiting them into replying further so you can make additional content because that's the TikTok ecosystem for you, don't you think your intentional attempts to try and bait them into further responding so you can further respond is a tad disingenuous?
Which, like, it just makes me laugh because y'all are saying women shouldn't be paid to exist. Bleh. I'm sorry. Who are the ones paying for OnlyFans?
You do realise on the face of it that point doesn't really stack up to your original video then, because they are working. It is a form of occupation to make money, arguably more than what any guy could on OnlyFans. Much like in the adult film industry, there is a huge disparity in income. Guys are just studs. Therefore, calling somebody an incel for propping up another person's OnlyFupa account doesn't stack up because you are trying to make it so that women don't have to work, or at least get a basic income because of their genetics.
Who are the ones making bank on OnlyFans? It's not men. It's not men, it's women. And who are the ones paying the women? Men. And what are the women just doing? Honestly, they're just existing in their bodies that y'all are choosing to sexualize. So, a lot of women are already getting paid to just exist.
Does anyone else understand why, to me, this came across as potentially a Poe? Because these points don't really make sense. Yet, it is a form of argumentation I have noticed over many years of being on this platform, going back as early as 2015. It's a false equivalence. And to also on the screen drive home the point that there are some people in some countries that are women that get paid to give birth. There is truth to this. Some countries pay what is called a baby bonus. In some countries, it's worth about 10,000 euros over the course of 10 years. This is being done to help with low birth rate numbers. Not because you're women, but because there aren't enough people being born.
The amount of men who actually secretly hate women is actually next level. I made the video where I say that women should be paid to exist. Bro, the amount of men who are like, well, us men contribute to human life too. Well, no shit. Thank you for stating the obvious. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Like, no shit, men contribute to life, but you guys don't contribute in the same way. You guys literally give a nut and leave.
You know, there's a whole biological aspect to why men are able to do what they can do and do it with many different people. Women form bonds, men struggle to form bonds. Although as time has gone by, that has changed. The biological urge, though, is still present. But you are grossly oversimplifying all of it to try and make it seem like women have it tougher where you are. That's your point. To really drive home the difference between men and women and make it seem like one of you is more marginalized, and that's the point. But as I've already debunked the point about the baby bonus, that doesn't stack up. So the criticisms levied at you carry weight.
Women, our minerals are depleted, literally. In the process of giving birth, our bone density decreases, our hair gets dry, our teeth get weaker because the babies are literally taking our minerals from our bodies to nourish that baby.
Do you mean like postpartum fatigue that can last anywhere from weeks to several months? Just because your body changes after doing something like bringing a child into the world doesn't mean you should be entitled to being propped up. It really doesn't. Many people make the conscientious choice to bring children into the world. They know the consequences of that. Granted, many do not choose this and have the child anyway, but the outcome of consequence is still the same.
On top of that, men, you do a nut. You're not stuck for 9 months carrying that baby as it grows in you. You're not sick. You're not stuck with the morning sickness. You're not stuck not being able to work certain days. You're not stuck literally with the baby growing inside of you.
No, but if they're your partner, they're the person having to listen to you moan about it. And they're more than likely, if you're unable to work, being the person working all the extra hours to ensure that the family can be fed. Who else is going to pay for everything else then if you aren't able to work? Is this also where the state aids you even further? Again, I don't quite understand how you are really desperate to drive home this point, when the simplest way of responding is, it's called a consequence. Bitch.
And the amount of men who want to make it seem like it's comparable is next level.
Spoken with no level of irony when you're unable to understand the other side to the problem. Somebody has to take up the slack. Somebody has to pay the taxes that prop you up. Somebody has to do something to help you. Yes, they cannot be compared. I fully agree. But everything has a consequence. And to implement what you think should be implemented would have a consequence that would affect everyone. All because of whichever generation this is, entitlement.
On top of that, y'all aren't the ones who have your body and your psyche damaged through childbirth. It's women. There is no comparison. Yes, of course, it takes both a man and a woman for human life, but the contributions are not the same, and trying to act like they're the same is actual delusion.
I would say the same can be applied to those who think one is more important or less important than the other. If you are a couple, you both play a vital role in the creation of a child, whether that be the coitus, whether it be the carrying, the nurturing, whether it be the giving birth, or the person presenting their hand to the person in labour so they can crush it like a walnut. These are all vitally important parts of the process, unless you're single, in which case there's something else we need to discuss. You have yet to explain how or why society should then pay for you to exist beyond childbirth based on faulty and flawed logic. The final video you use, that I'm going to use, is what we're now going to look at.
A lot of people like to say that women are the emotional ones. Never in my life have I seen so many men get so emotional over such a stupid opinion that I stated is gonna be unpopular. Like, never in my life. Like, okay, fine, you wanna call me stupid, but like, they're getting emotional, bro.
Whether you're male, female, animal, vegetable or mineral, emotional or not, your opinion is no more or less valid in a conversation. You put out an opinion, and the court of public opinion has been very critical against you. Your response is to obfuscate, downplay, patronize, and insult those who are critical of you. You've done it in all the videos I've shown so far. It is quite cliche.
Like, I was getting too many comments. I started filtering my comments.
But they're the one that got emotional, right?
They're going to my Instagram. Like, threats, bro. They're sending me threats because I said women get paid to, should get paid to exist.
I am not for 1 second going to try and downplay what you have received as criticism, whether that be the unalive variety or not. Of course, I cannot support or condone that kind of behaviour. Thought I'd insert that. The next part's the funny part because it's somewhat ironic. You're about to get very emotional about it. No doubt because you've got your victim card, you now can present and say, yes, but I received these threats. Who needs accountability, am I right?
Like, it's a stupid opinion. I said it was going to be unpopular. Like, y'all don't have to agree with me. But, like, to make this a personal attack on me is insane. To act like you know me is insane. To threaten to send it to my boss, who's a female, is insane. To send me death threats and harass me on other medias is insane just because you don't agree.
I can only think of one thing more pathetic, I guess, and that's the person doing a YouTube response video to it all. But your reaction's quite amusing. Also, you think that having a female boss means that that's going to change an outcome. They're going to agree with what you just said. Women aren't in complete alignment here. They really aren't. As far as the humanity species goes, you're all incredibly judgy, some more than others. I'm sure there's a perfectly good reason why. Jokes aside, because I can make many at your expense, you got criticism for putting an opinion out in the public domain on the internet. If you cannot understand that, you fail to internet. You filtered your comments, they went to alternative platforms you use. I don't agree with the messages they sent you if they sent them at all, which I think you should, by the way, share for the sake of, here, this is what one twat sent. That kind of thing, right? Not doxing, not like that. I mean in the sense of show us the evidence so it's not just anecdotal and possibly something we can dismiss. You put out a bad opinion and you found out. Simple as that, really. And I don't have sympathy for you because you presented nothing to prove your claims and you presented nothing to prove why women should be paid to exist.